because I was gonna give you a ratings, and it's like, oh, we'll be here fucking forever. Like rating, like which is the best Evil X.
Yeah.
We can at least sit there and say number one is like at the bottom totem pole, like
Yeah, he was just there to like, you know, this is the story. This is what you can expect when it comes to battling each of the evil X's. You know.
And he was at least nice enough to send an email and everything. And it was all like, "Did you not read the email? The League of the Super Evil X's?" And it's
I
all
kind of
like,
skimmed it.
it's all like, "You will
Just
pay for your, I guess, skimming this or whatever."
Michael Cera's delivery just it nails it from the comics too. Just like, oh, this is so boring.
Again, he's a dick. Like, we're not supposed to really like this character, but Michael Cera is, yeah, like what you said. It's
He's a lovable goof. Like he's a
he's
kind
a
of a
lovable
man child.
dick.
He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
he's an asshole. He doesn't like taking responsibility or just for his actions and like what he does, and like that's
yeah,
what he learns to do at the end of the story, and just like uh able to like to establish those arcs early on in the script just really impressed me. Like because um, you're gonna have a problem with like doing that with juggling so many characters when writing your own stories. You know.
yeah.
Uh,
Pretty much what Edgar Wright does is, again, going back to King. King does so well juggling multiple characters, especially if it's like if it's a small town scenario. That man can fucking do it like no tomorrow. And I've noticed that a lot in Edgar Wright's film, especially the is it the Cornetto trilogy? Yeah,
yeah,
like
because of
Shaun
the
the
ice cream.
Dead. Shaun the Dead, you know, like there were so many memorable people. Even like the background characters, like the people who had no speaking lines, they had charisma and talent all themselves. What was the second one? Hot Fuzz. Like the whole police precinct, which is what really like a cast of 10 people, maybe less.
Yeah, about
That and then the secret cult, the people that in the town, you
the
remember
whole
them.
town.
And then even it's not my favorite, but I've always been told to go back to see The World's End and everything to give it like another try. But even then, I at least sit there and remember who's who, you know, in the friends group and whatnot. That one was a little bit more shorter because like I don't really think you remember much of anyone in the bar, but you remember the friends group
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
You remember the kids that were like giving the trouble and like doing the whole fight, and then you remember the professor that kind of like I think the main character hated. I don't really.
Vaguely. This is why I have to go back for it.
Yeah, the
I still
World's End
think
is the
that's the
weakest one.
weakest.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's the weakest one. But when you look at the other two in the trilogy, again, this is all for folks wondering why the fuck are you talking about this other film trilogy? Because it's all directed and written by Edgar Wright. So he
Yeah,
just knows how to write community. Really, that's kind of what he knows how to form a community of characters, and he knows
yeah,
how to connect them, and how to write them and make them all memorable in their own little ways. Even if it's just through one moment, and it's like that one moment I remember that character. You know, he just has that gift in writing.
yeah.
Now I don't know if he has a partner writer with that. It's been a while since I
Uh,
read Shaun of the Dead. I know I read that script. That script right there. I didn't even have to look at the page. I knew exactly what the fuck they were saying because I saw the movie so much.
I thought he had. I thought there was another writing credit, but I don't
Well,
remember.
I'm pretty sure for Shaun and the Cornetto thing, it was also Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg
Yeah,
co-wrote with it, and then you probably had Nick Frost probably throwing in a couple of like doctoring lines for his characters at least. So you could at least sit there and know where Edgar's work is, Simon's work, and Nick. Um,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure this was all Edgar uh, probably for it. But anyway, back to what you were saying. I'm so sorry.
What was I saying? Oh fuck.
Jeez, we were getting into the evil X's. We were getting to the evil X's, and you
Oh,
talked
right,
about
right.
one punched the hole in the moon for her, one fought
Yeah,
off
yeah,
jocks
yeah.
with her. Yeah, uh,
Yeah, Matthew
wh-
Patel, Lucas Lee, the super famous ex-boyfriend, uh, is often mistaken for Luke Wilson. I'm thinking
wait,
like
was that a
maybe they
joke?
wanted.
Was that a joke
I
in here?
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Scott mistakes him for Luke Wilson. They might have like had a initial joke where like they wanted Luke Wilson to play Lucas Lee in the movie. That
Yeah.
would have been funny. But like yeah, no, like they got freaking Captain America there.
But like Chris Evans is like just the comic book like cameo. For a
Yeah,
lot of people, they're just all like, yeah, no, let's just bring in Chris Evans because he's done the Fantastic Four duology.
yeah. He had done Fantastic Four before that point. He wasn't. I think he
I think he
was
just did
filming
the
Captain
Losers
America.
right before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he wasn't that big back then, like he is now. So
I don't know.
it's
I
just
think you got to
cool.
be pretty big to have a banana between your ass cheeks and everything,
Oh my god,
and calling himself a
was that
fucking
from
ice cream sundae. Like,
not
that's
another
my
teen
captain.
movie
Yeah,
throwback? That movie is so wild.
and everything.
uh,
She
yeah,
has your
so
eyes, and
just fucking stick people.
oh my god.
Oh man, but
But
yeah, no, it's just the way like Scott is able to defeat each of the X's, like kind of about either like outwitting them or just
hmm
out fighting them in different aspects of his life.
there's
Uh,
not a single one of them that's like the same fight. It's not.
yeah, it's just that's another thing. Like the comic, probably you'll notice like he meets the X and like he fights them in the movie, but in
Yeah,
the comic it's a whole thing. Like he has a couple other extra interactions with them before actually doing the final battle
yeah,
to like defeat them, and he beats them. Like a lot of the defeats are co- mostly comic accurate until you get to the fifth and sixth one, the fourth and fifth and sixth one, which I think was
that was
uh,
Roxy, the Katayanagi twins, and Gideon.
yeah, yeah.
So how different was that in the book for the twins?
So in the book, Kim is actually kidnapped by the twins and is like to lure Scott out in and to like defeat him like in a secluded little warehouse where Kim is like in a bird cage.
So you didn't get the epic like battle of the bands with them?
No,
Oh my
that's
god!
one
I
of the
think
things.
that's. I think for once I'm going to say the movie probably did that better.
The movie did definitely do that better because it integrated the whole cast and crew and
Yeah,
got them all in one location, and it was like it had to do with Scott's personal life and his outer life here, like
yeah.
of just having the band be successful. So like the movie did do it better on this point,
I,
but
because I gotta sit there and say not many films can pull off what is originally just a battle of the bands thing that morphs into a special effects kaiju fight.
yeah,
Because wasn't Scott's band like a gorilla?
shit,
I think it was something like that, or maybe like a bear. It was a very brute force animal because the twins they had the two dragons and everything. It was the
yeah,
Chinese dragons and everything, and yeah, it was like I don't know why, but in my brain I got King Kong fighting two heads of Ghidorah. So like, but like the
it could,
Ghidorahs from the really bad Netflix Godzilla thing. So
oh yeah,
at
yeah,
least the dragons in this
freaking
one looked
hated
really
that,
cool. The dragons in
yeah,
this one looked really cool, but I thought that was a creative thing. And it's like the moment you kind of feel like, what's another way you can do like a quote unquote boss battle with another X? Because yeah, like the first one, Patel was just like your normal fight scene with some
yeah,
supernatural stuff. What you said, Lucas Lee, he was able to outwit after like him beating up all of Lucas's stunt doubles, which
yeah,
again that was a very clever thing of is he punching Luke or is he fighting another one of the stunt doubles because they all
and,
look almost the same.
and it makes it unique because he's an actor. He's got stunt doubles, and it's just
Yeah,
like it makes the fight unique, and that it's distinctive. That character is distinctive.
yeah,
So
but like even Scott knew I can't beat this guy with my fists. I need to use my wit. So can you do like a
yeah,
grind thing on the flippy thing or whatever, a flip on the grind thing? And
yeah. Can you grind
he's
down this
like,
railing?
yeah, and everything. Yeah, I could do it. It's like, well, then do it. And so he, give me my board. And it's like, why the fuck you sound like Batman? And it's like, but yeah, he does it, and then he beats him, and then like Scott's like, okay, that's it. And then Roxy, uh, no, Todd was the next one, and he had the
Todd.
whole vegan police thing, where
Yeah,
he mixed up the half and half, made Todd violate for the final time his vegan things.
yep,
He loses his powers, and then yeah, Brie Larson bitches and everything because it's all like, you just punched my boyfriend to fucking, bus fare. And, and then Roxy, yeah, Roxy, it's like the weird orgasm from touching, what's it, behind the knee?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was that was different in the comics. That final
Yeah.
fight is different in the comic too, because he gets the sort of love in that fight instead of like in the final fight with Gideon in the
Yeah.
film. Uh, and also, Knives Chow's a lot more like uh, present in the story. Like her family is a lot more present, and her father is a sword wielding, I guess, samurai,
Yeah.
and who he hunts Scott down, and he's like kind of trying to kill him, I guess.
Oh, kind of similar like how Knives hunts down Ramona, because it's all like, you took Scott away from me. And
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, because like in the video that I did watch where they talked about at the end where they did that, that actually happened prior to that. It did not happen during the Gideon fight. And that there was like
yeah,
a library fight scene where they essentially they duked it out and everything.
yeah,
And so okay, so yeah, because I don't think you ever got to meet Knives' parents. Like
yeah.
he
Not in the
he
movie.
avoided that
No.
in the movie of, like, oh, like, had dinner with the parents. So I don't know if that is prompted in the book of, hey, you skipped out on my daughter like on dinner night with us and then you broke her heart, so now I'm gonna come at you with a samurai sword. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just like he ends up earning her father's respect, and Knives her father goes to Knives and is like, I guess it's okay for you to date that kid, because she still is pining for him at that point in the story.
It
But
is the
also,
age thing still the same? Like she's 17
yes,
and Scott's like, what, 21?
yes,
I'm
it's
sorry.
Canada.
Yeah, I know it's legal in Canada, but we're here in the States, and oh my god, no,
Yeah,
no.
I mean, he never does anything sexual in the
True.
comic book as well.
I,
So
I I
it's
would
just
figure as
like
much. That would kind of be hard to sell in the U.S.
it's yeah, it's still weird, but like he knows he doesn't want to do anything. He's just with Knives in the beginning for the same reason in this movie, because it's easy, and like he doesn't have to put in a lot of effort,
Yeah.
and that's one of the
Core.
hurdles he has to overcome with dating Ramona. Ramona is his first like real like infatuated love since dating Brie Larson's character, the Rockstar girl. I forgot her name, but
Yeah.
because she broke his heart real bad. Like
Just ripped his heart out and just crushed
yeah,
it.
and just like you get a lot more context in the comic book that I kind of wish was in the movie, but I understand why it wasn't. But
Yeah.
and you meeting who Brie Larson's character is in the film, you see like what kind of person she is and like why she would rip someone's heart out. She's just in it for the fame. She doesn't really care about anybody but herself, and
Well, I kind of
like
always
she
thought that when what she did was she knew in order to move up to where she wanted to be, like in the status of rock stardom, that she couldn't just sit there and keep hanging like at like, I guess, her local watering hole. And so she had to cut
yeah
ties with almost everything there in order to go be a star. I think in New York. I think that's where she
uh
became the big star
yeah,
and everything.
and
And
it's
then
just
she
like yeah,
comes
just sell your
back
soul.
just for the tour of like, oh, she's doing like a Canadian tour, and she just happens to stop by her old stomping ground, just to kind of rub it in the nose. I got a new boyfriend. He's better than you, and
Yeah,
everything. And like, yeah,
and she's also jealous that he's dating Ramona at the
who
point in the
like is
story.
like, yeah. And that again, I love how that scene in the movie makes it so awkward. It's like, you're banging who I banged, and I'm banging who you used to bang, and like,
Yeah,
oh, this is awkward. And then it's like, oh, here's my other ex that we had nothing really
yeah.
like we didn't do, but like.
Knives, you kissed my you kissed the lips that kissed my lips. She still gets the coloring of her hair punched out in the comic, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, so I was told that it was the drummer that did that, that knocked the highlights out of her hair. And
Yeah,
like, apparently from the video that I did watch, they talked about that even though the drummer doesn't do it, she gets a cameo because she's in there, and they have like part of her arm wrapped up, like maybe hiding the fact that maybe it's a cyborg arm and
yeah,
everything. She's just in the background of that whole area, but they don't get involved into the fight and
yeah,
everything. But yeah, it's the little things. It's the little things that that we loved about that. So yeah, then you had Todd, then you had Roxy, which again the orgasm thing, uh, an interesting way, and then you have a kaiju battle scene, which is not in the comics, but yeah, in the movie, I thought that was kind of like new, and it's all like okay, it's like how do you top that? I kind of thought like when it came to Gideon, I was like, oh okay, it was an all right. Like we understand he's the big bad, he's the asshole, but
Yeah,
like it's like where do we go with this boss battle? And yeah, I still don't think nothing tops kaiju, music battle of the bands, but that was still pretty damn cool with the samurai fight scene. I guess that
yeah,
was their way of kind of implementing Knives' dad kind of in it
yeah.
without making that. But um, yeah, I have an issue with the ending, and it all comes with Gideon. Uh,
Hold on, one
yeah.
sec. Another aspect of Roxy's fight is it does adapt another aspect in the comic that is kind of a short story in the comic where
Okay.
Scott doesn't want to hit a girl, uh, and in the film he doesn't want to hit Roxy because he doesn't want to hit a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Ramona steps in and like kind of takes his arms and like fights the fight for him, and they kind of work together, kind of in the first for the first point time, like in the story of the movie,
Yeah.
where like they're working in sync together. And I thought that was a really great moment because you see it in at the end of chap in the volume 3, and uh, yeah, you just it's a great moment that's been adapted
It.
that wasn't in the original story. You know?
Oh, okay. So then, how did he? I guess we're getting in spoilers, so I guess I'll fucking figure this out. Either Chris
Yeah,
tells me or I read it in the book. So then, how
yeah.
does he beat Roxy in the book? Does he
Well,
just
in the book, he does a sword fight with her with the sword of love and manages to defeat her that way.
so he had no
But
problems? He had no problem stabbing her, but he had a problem
yeah,
hitting.
yeah, it
Hmm.
doesn't exactly
I
make
know
sense.
when
I
you kind
think
of
in the
start thinking about it, it's like this isn't any better. I'm not gonna
yeah,
punch a girl, but give me that
but
sword and
but
like
I loved how that aspect was adapted from the comic into the film. Like just
yeah.
that it was an unrelated